Now, I'd like to thank all of those who are joining us on social media at the Temple of the Living God here in St. Petersburg, Florida. We are so very happy that you have joined us on this July 4th Independence Day celebration, and we know that as you have joined us, your lives will also be blessed and inspired. Today we have with us the one and only Reverend LeRoy Zemke sharing his talk with us, and the topic is, will the real you stand up? We are in for a treat, I'm sure. My inspirational reading I have taken from Daily Word, and it's entitled Free. And I quote, I am free to choose from the wonder of God's unlimited universe. Freedom of choice adds greatly to the quality of anyone's life. Certainly, the right to choose how I apply my skills and talents, spend my spare time, and express my freedoms that I hold dear. Choosing my friends and the people I associate with is important to me also. Yet there is one kind of freedom that I value most: the freedom to choose my thoughts. Because my thoughts are a form of prayer, they do bless me. With my thoughts, I have the freedom to choose how I experience life. So, I choose positive, uplifting thoughts that help bring about the greatest possible experiences concerning my health, prosperity, relationships, and work. I am thankful that I am free to choose what I will from the wonder of God's unlimited universe. And so it is. And so now, let us enjoy music by our one and only Daniel Harris, singing America.
Appropriate, right? Happy Independence Day. Far, we've been traveling far without a home, but not without a star. Woo. All right, here we go. Free, only want to be free. We huddle close and hang on to a dream. On the boats and on the planes, they're coming to America, never looking back again. They're coming to America. Home. Don't it seem so far away? Oh, we're traveling lights a day in the eye of a storm. In the eye of a storm. And home to a new and a shiny place. Make our beds and we'll say our grace. Freedom's light burning warm. Freedom's light burning warm. We Well, everywhere around the world, they're coming to America. Every time that flag's unfurled, they're coming to America. Got a dream to take them there. They're coming to America. Got a dream they've come to share. They're coming to America. They're coming to America. They're coming to America. They're coming to America. They're coming to America today, yeah. Today, today, yeah. Today, my country to thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Of thee I sing today, 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 today. Happy Independence Day, everyone. We'll see you at potluck.
Today, thank you. Not only Daniel, but thank you, all of you, for being with us to celebrate and mark this special day in our calendar, not only the church calendar, but the calendar of the year. My theme today is, as I have mentioned many, many times in times past, but in present time as well, the real man, the real woman, the real being with us needs to stand up. So before any of us get too focused on this idea in terms of what it means, I am not going down a political path. For those of you that want the politics, you can turn on any television station in the country and get all kinds of politics. Positive, negative, encouraging, discouraging, positive in the sense of good news. You can get bad news too. You can get all kinds of news. I'm not talking about that today. What I am talking about, however, is the inner man, the inner woman, the inner being. And I would like you, for those of you that remember some of the words of a man who was very important in literature to the world and still is, William Shakespeare. He wrote a piece of work in a play called Hamlet, given through the words of a father to his son. And I'm going to quote some of those words this moment. And these few precepts in thy memory, look thou to character, give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but no means vulgar. Those friends thou hast, and their adoption tried, grapple unto them with your soul, with hoops of steel, but do not dull thy palm with entertainment. Of each new half-child, unfledged comrade, beware of entrance into a quarrel, but once being in it, bear it that the oppressed may be ware of thee. Give every man your ear, but few thy voice. To each man censure, but reserve thy judgment. Receive it so, receive it kindly. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy rich or gaudy. For the apparel oft falsely proclaims the man. And finally, neither a borrower nor a lender be. For loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as night the day, that thou canst not then be false to any man. Farewell, my blessing season, this is in thee, my son. In the past year, actually a year and a half now, we have, of course, gone through major changes in our own country and in the world. But I want to really focus not on the changes, because there are many men and many women who are writing, speaking, and languaging this. I want to really invite you to think about the fact that the changes that exist are cultural, they can be educational, they can be languaged by the clergy, by teachers, by our parents, our family, our friends, our ministers, the men and women and children that we love, and many other people. But all of us have a core, an inner core, and this is what I want you to begin to remember again. Yes, we are Asian. Yes, we are Indian. Yes, we are American. We celebrate America today as an Independence Day, and there is great value in honoring that, as we know. We celebrate races and colors and education, or for that matter, even the lack of it. We learn what it means to be male, female, LGBTQ, binary, non-binary, and on it goes. There are so many labels that we have now of defining ourselves in the outer world. But the man, the woman that I'm talking about is not that which is designed by the body or has the shape of a human form. It's the spiritual man, the spiritual woman that is within us. So the question remains, who are we? I think the discovery of a lifetime is really in a number of different areas, and many of us have begun to explore them in our lives, in our talents, also our skills, our capacities, and how to use and develop and unfold them in our lives. That's part of who we are when we develop a talent, whatever the label is, however far we've come, whatever work we've done so far. I think there is also, as I just mentioned, the sacred essential self. I speak to this very often. This is the deepest, innermost part of who we are. We speak of ourselves as having a spiritual core. I believe every man, every woman, every child has a spiritual core. And we all experience it in different ways, at different times, in different forms in our lives. These core values have a lot of different labels. They could be called integrity, loyalty, honesty. They can be called compassion, love, forgiveness, life-affirming, and so on. There are many other positive qualities that we can label that are part of this inner nature. And I think that any time that we identify with these, what I'm calling core essences or essence qualities, we begin to get more of a picture of who we are beyond what the world talks about, what we are as a man, as a woman, as a political person, as a businessman or woman, as a racial individual or whatever. All of these are important. All these labels are important because they define a part of us. They define ancestry and our connection to the past, but they also define who we are to become. I think our focus really is How do we bring what we carry as the quality of our own soul to the world in which we live? What is the shining light that you have, I have, we have together? Be true to yourself. I believe, truly, I've said this many times, and I've become more and more convinced of it as my own journey goes forward. I believe God has called each of us to a particular work or soul-fulfilling task in this lifetime. Now, many people want to know if it's going to be as a teacher or as a minister or as a doctor or as an educator or as an inventor and so on and so forth. Yes to all of that. I think we need to think about ourselves as an individualized expression of the divine in flesh. Yes, perhaps we can teach children, but not everybody teaches children. We teach children whether we are called a teacher, whether we have children, or whether we share the life of men and women in our own world who have children. So we are in some way a teacher of a child that touches our life, and he or she, the child, touches our own. I don't think there is any one work that's better. People get very caught in this thing of, well, it has to be really important in the world. We can't really make a contribution unless we make a lot of money. That's a mistake, a huge mistake. And whether we have a little money or a lot of money or no money, we have a contribution to make by being on this planet. How many of you believe that? All right. Accept that as part of the work that you're here to accomplish. It doesn't matter whether you have a college degree, 3 college degrees, whether you are recognized by the community for some outstanding contribution you've made to the community in which you live. That's important. Yes, 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 and triple yes, 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 that's important. But what matters is where you are in your heart, in your soul, where you are as a man, where you are as a woman. How many people in your life, in my life, how many men, how many women, how many children do we really love from the fullness of our own being? This past week, I had an interesting conversation with a woman that's been a somewhat personal and business friend for almost 45 years. She's been divorced twice, and she's about to divorce her 3rd husband. And we had a little bit of a counsel, professional time together. And she shared with me that this man to whom she has been married has been a difficult person. She didn't realize, among other things, that he was addicted to drugs. He kept it hidden from everyone in his family, and it finally came out during the marriage. He also kept hidden the fact that he had been married to another woman and had a child by her. He just neglected to mention it to her. And all of a sudden, this child shows up in the duration of the marriage and says, "I'm your son." And it brought about, let me say, a lot of surprises, a lot of upheaval, and a lot of doubt. And she said, "I think this has been a relatively good," these were her words, "I have had a relatively good marriage. But I guess I married a liar. He has never really told me the truth about who he is. He's never revealed himself for all that he is or has been or what he's accomplished." And she said, "I have really learned to love him more now than I did before. But," she said, "I'm not big enough yet to stay with him because I really am not yet ready to take on any more untruths." In that instance, I salute this lady because she was standing up for herself where she is now. And it was an interesting dialogue because she said, I don't hate this man. I still love him. I just don't want to live with him. I just don't want to be his partner anymore. And I thought a lot about that after we had this conversation, because I thought, how many of the men and women in our lives do we really know? How many men, how many women, how many people really tell us all there is to tell about our life story? And it's not that I think we need to reveal all. I just think we need to recognize that there is a part of us that is sacred. There is a part of us that is holy, that we need to be open to as all these layers are being uncovered. As the layers of ourself are being seen, we become more aware of who we really are. And the men and women who are in our lives that can stay with us to help us through that journey are really powerful, I think, and blessed men, blessed women, blessed family. So whether we become famous or in some instances infamous, a person of great wealth, or live whatever is an ordinary life, I think it's up to us to be the best man, the best woman that we can be in the world. And whether you espouse a particular spiritual teaching or not, whether you are agnostic, whether you believe in church or you don't, whether you believe in God or you don't, it doesn't matter. You're here, you're on this planet. About a month ago, I had a conversation with a man, actually in a department store. And I was making my purchase and finished it, and he looked up at me and he said, I may ask you, what is your profession? What do you do? And I said, well, I'm a minister. And he looked at me and he smiled. He said, oh, you're one of those God people. And I said, well, I do believe in God. He said, oh, don't hand that to me. I don't want to hear about it. I said, well, you're the one who asked the question. I said, I'm not about to deliver a sermon. I'm answering your question. He says, well, I don't need a sermon. He says, I'm married. I get a sermon every day. So everybody's got their different view about how you get your sermon in your life. I'm not here to deliver a sermon. I'm here, hopefully, today to remind you that God is working in our lives, and we need to listen to the call that we have to be the special man or the special woman. I sometimes don't like that word special, because when we think of ourselves as being special, we tend to think somebody else is not special. I think everybody's special. I think everybody has his or her place on the planet. So I want to quote to you a final comment that I have taken from the writings of Joel Osteen. Many of you have heard him on national television. This piece of writing is called Don't Talk Yourself Out of Who You Are. Make sure you don't talk yourself out of what God wants to do in your life. It may not seem logical. All your reasoning may say it will never happen. You may feel you are too old or you don't have the experience. It may seem that the report is too bad and all the odds are against you. But dare to believe that God's promise is true. Mary, the mother of Jesus, did just that. Remember, she was a teenage girl living in Nazareth. One day, an angel appears to her and says, Mary, you are a highly favored child of God. You will give birth to a baby without knowing a man, and he will be called the Son of God. God spoke an incredible promise to her. You can imagine the doubts that perhaps bombarded her mind, her soul, her being. You can't have a child without a man. That's impossible. That defies the law of nature. If Mary had just looked at what was possible in the natural world, she would have given up. But she accepted that God was active in her life. She understood the principle of God's power is available to us all. And she didn't consider her circumstances. She considered her God. She allowed God to work in her life. Now, for the ladies in the audience, I'm not suggesting you're going to become pregnant and give birth to a new child at this time in your life. If that's part of your personal goal, your personal wish, I celebrate that. I wish really a profound blessing on that experience when it comes and as it may come. But give birth to the idea of the best man and the best woman you can be, because I think God still has a work to do through you, through me, through all of us. Just stand up and be who you are. God bless. And now, as we come to the closing music, I want to take our blessing, offer you rather the blessing of the tithes and offerings, and will the ushers please come forward. Infinite source of all life, we ask that these gifts may be blessed and multiplied, and may the greatness of your goodness unfold and flower in our life always. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All righty. This is going to be our closing song just for today. It's a song that everyone knows, and you're not welcome to sing along, but you can sing in your head. We haven't gotten permission from CDC yet to do congregational singing, so sing it softly to yourself. God bless America, land that I love.
Stand beside her and guide her
Through the night from the light from above,
from the mountains to the prairie, to the ocean. Life is small. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Play it, Alex.
From the mountain to the prairie, to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Yes. God bless America. And stick around for all the good food.